Hi everyone, how you doing? Rev Paul here from St. Augustine of Canterbury Anglican Church. It is another Saturday, another beautiful Saturday here in Windsor. A little chilly, but for the most part, still a beautiful day. The sun is shining and a little bit of wind, but that's all right. Coming to you this morning, this afternoon, this evening, whenever it is that you're seeing this video, with the next message from the truck. I am actually from the truck, so before anybody says, wait a minute, you can't do a message from the truck standing outside, this piece of plastic right here that you're seeing in the edge of the video is the truck. So I am officially from the truck. I wanted to be here in the outside for today because I wanted to show you something, actually. I'm just going to hold the camera up here for a second. If you look over there, you can see a plethora of yard waste bags, and there's even more loaded up in the back of the pickup truck. This is the result of last weekend's yard waste cleanup day, or the property cleanup day that we did here at St. Augustine. It was a fantastic day. We had about a dozen or so of us that came out, and we cleaned up the gardens, and we cleaned up all over the place, and just did a really nice job of getting the property ready for what comes next. And I'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But I wanted to take a chance in the video here and thank all of the folks who came out and supported that yard waste cleanup day. That was a fantastic gathering of the community to be able to do some things together. So thank you to everybody who did part of that. Speaking of thank you, it is Thanksgiving weekend. It is National Thanksgiving. Lots of folks are traveling and visiting friends and family. Some folks for the first time that we've been able to since the horrible thing that we do not discuss that has been plaguing us for the last few years. Hopefully you've been able to make some plans to celebrate Thanksgiving this weekend. Hopefully you've either got friends or family coming over, or you're just gathering with your own family in your own house, whatever that happens to be, to celebrate your turkey or your tofu or your ham or whatever it is, maybe a turducken if that happens to be the kind of thing that you do at your house. So happy Thanksgiving to you all from the community of St. Augustine, and specifically from myself. Thanksgiving, of course, has with it some beautiful decorations. I was just in the church a moment ago and was chatting with the Altar Guild, who have been hard at work preparing the decorations for Thanksgiving for tomorrow morning's service, and it looks absolutely amazing. And I mean, the colors are part of what makes it incredible, right? It's the bright oranges and the bright yellows and the bright reds, all of those colors that God gives us in the colors of the changing leaves of the trees. And we bring those colors and we share those colors as part of our celebrations as we gather and look at all the beauty of creation and the beauty of the harvest all around us. Of course, those things mean that something else is coming. All of that work that we did around the gardens, all of the work that the community did last week in the yard cleanup day was just to prepare for what comes next. All of the beautiful yellows and oranges and reds are going to turn into grays and browns and slush colors. It's coming, whether we want it to or not. But you know what? There's actually some hope found in that too. We often talk about the fact that we as church are Easter people. We celebrate Easter every Sunday. We get together and we celebrate that moment of the resurrection. We celebrate that moment when grace was given to us freely, when freedom from sins was given to us without any cost to us. And when we take those moments, we sometimes forget, other than maybe, once a year, that Easter can't happen without Good Friday. That resurrection and renewal can't happen without the loss of something sometimes very dear to us. Whether that loss is a loss of a job or a loss of a friend or a loss of what we've always known to be done in a particular way. You've heard me speak many times in the past of the most dangerous words in the church are "we've always done it that way." And sometimes we have to go through a Good Friday experience of saying goodbye to "we've always done it that way" in order for us to be able to celebrate what is coming new. I know a lot of churches, Reverend Charlotte, Reverend Robert, and Reverend Ryan, and Reverend Lisa, and I, all of the leaders of the Sent, we were just away at Clergy Conference, the diocesan event that takes place every fall, where the bishop calls all of the clergy together. And lots of congregations speaking of the similar things that we've experienced, this change in the culture of the community gathered, this change in the numbers of people that are gathering for worship, these changes that nobody anticipated and nobody expected. And there's a lot of frustration and suffering and hurt that's coming with some of those changes. But we need to trust God. We need to trust God that in the moments when we are in our Good Friday, the celebration of the resurrection is coming. We're reminded of it every fall. We're reminded of it every winter. We trim our trees back. We cut our bushes back. We make we pull the flowers out that have withered and died in anticipation of what's going to come next year. We're going to get through the dark days of winter. We're going to get through those moments of gray and slushy and snowy and windy. And in the spring, crocuses and daffodils are going to poke through the earth. And they're going to bring color back into the space again. And we'll be reminded once again of new life, of new possibility. And I think we need to hold on to that fairly hard. We need to hold fast to the promise that we're just in a period of change. Now, change is never easy. We all know how many Anglicans it takes to change a light bulb. Change? Yeah, exactly. So we know it's not an easy thing to do. And we as leadership and you as lay leadership and those folks that are sitting in the pews, we all know the same thing, that it is tough to say goodbye to something that's been a tradition, something that's been the way we've done it, something that's been so very important to generation after generation. But there are some things that we have to be able to say, all right, where do we go from here? And if we open our hearts to God pointing that direction for us, it's going to be that much easier. So it is definitely a change of season. The yard waste bags gathered at the back of St. Augustine of Canterbury tell me that, and the flowers cut right down as low as they can get to the ground tell me the same thing, that a season is changing. And we've come through a significant season of change. But God will make sure that everybody gets the rest they need. God will make sure that the plants find their way back to the sunshine in the spring. God will make sure that we all have these places that we call our spiritual homes as places where we can gather, as places where we can celebrate and give thanks, particularly on a weekend like this one. A couple of quick announcements, and these are quick announcements this week, I promise you. Reverend Robert and Reverend Ryan are about to lead us through a reading of a book study, of a book from Pastor Nadia Boltz-Weber. The book is called Shameless. It's an investigation, a deep dive into the sexuality of the church. How has the church dealt with sexuality over the generations, and how do we deal with it now? Great little book. It's an enjoyable read, and really looking forward to where Reverend Ryan and Reverend Robert lead us through on that book. That starts on Tuesday. That's just a couple of days away, so looking forward to sharing that book with you all. The community here at St. Augustine is excited to share and invite everybody to come and join us Sunday, October the 30th. So that's just a few weeks away now. Sunday, October 30th, we're going to be celebrating our 10th anniversary. That's right, 10 whole years as a community of St. Augustine. We have had the privilege of being in a building that certainly is more than 10 years old. But the community of St. Augustine itself was actually created in October of 2012 and celebrated their new ministry at that time. So this is a new place, and we're going to celebrate a decade together with special service and, of course, a luncheon and so on to follow. So if you're able to make it that day, circle it on your calendar. There'll be more details to follow as to times and that kind of thing. Even if you're a person who maybe won't be able to make it here for our 9 a.m. service, I think our plan is to make the luncheon a little later. So you could probably still attend your 10 a.m. service wherever you are and sneak your way over here and join us for lunch if you've been part of this community at some point. So we look forward to sharing with lots of folks. That's Sunday, October the 30th, as we celebrate 10 years of ministry here at St. Augustine. For right now, I think that wraps everything up for our announcements. I hope to see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning here at St. Augustine, or at 11:30 as we gather online with Ascent. And whichever place happens to find you, I hope that you're able to join us and celebrate and worship God and offer that prayer and praise that He deserves. But for right now, Knowing that my daughter, Charlotte, is getting her motorcycle license this very weekend, it seems incredibly appropriate that I wish you all the shiny side up and the rubber side down. Be safe out there, everyone. Be caring and loving towards one another. I look forward to seeing you again, whether in person, or online, or in next week's Message from the Truck. For right now, blessings to you all. Bye for now.